Most of us have been fighting our energy levels for so long that we stopped asking why. We assume it's stress or screens or the fact that our brains just will not quit. But what if a significant part of the answer has literally been underneath you every single night? Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Vibe with Kai podcast. My name is Kairos Keenan Westcott. Welcome to the show. My guest today is Derek Hales, the founder and editor in chief of NapLab.com. Derek did not set out to become the most data driven mattress expert in the country. He and his wife were a newly married couple, completely broke, trying to buy their first real bed together. And the experience was so confusing and so expensive and honestly kind of infuriating that he built an entire website just to help other people avoid what he went through. That website became NapLab, where Derek and his team have now tested over 565 mattresses using a battery of objective in-house tests designed to cut through all of the industry noise and give sleepers real answers. What Derek and I get into today is genuinely something I had never thought about this deeply before. We talk about why your mattress might be one of the quiet reasons you wake up feeling worse than when you went to bed, and how the mattress industry is largely designed to confuse you into overspending, and exactly what Derek tells someone who needs a mattress but has zero time to research for one. He also has a free personalized mattress quiz at naplab.com that narrows down every mattress he has ever tested into the single best one for you and your specific needs. That link is in the show notes. And if you want to hear the full Reverse the Mic segment where Derek flips the script and asks me questions and things that I've never been asked before, you can subscribe for $5 a month on Patreon, on Facebook. And with that, you also get access to the full ADHD deep dive library and exclusive content that never gets posted anywhere else. The subscription links are also in the show notes. With that said, my friends, sit back, relax, and enjoy my chat with Derek Hales. My friends, I am sitting here with Derek Hales. I said it right? It's Derek Hales. Oh, perfect. Okay, perfect. I want to start by exploring something really crucial when we talk about, I feel like we don't talk about as often as we should, and that's choosing the right mattress, right? I think sometimes people take that for granted. Like they don't really understand how much of a factor that can play in their life and the way that they sleep. So let's start there. How does choosing the right mattress enable you to get better sleep and actually help you, if anything, feel happier and healthier day by
Absolutely. So I think choosing the right mattress is a bit like, choosing the right shirt, choosing a
day?
pair of pants that fit you,
Hmm.
choosing, jackets and outerwear that are appropriate for the weather. It's just, does this mattress meet the needs of you and your partner? Does it meet
Hmm.
the needs that are going to help you get the best sleep? And so it's essential that we pick a mattress that is meeting those needs because that's going to get us the best sleep, the most restorative sleep, which is going to lead to all kinds of better health outcomes. And when we don't have a mattress that meets our needs, it's kind of the opposite. It's one of those things that can gradually build up over years where, your health is deteriorating in all these different areas, your energy is lower, and it's one of those things that unless you spend a little bit of time and attention just kind of addressing to make sure you've got the right mattress underneath you,
Yeah.
things can start to feel pretty bad.
Yeah. I know that you've developed a whole personalized mattress quiz at NapLab, which is amazing. How does that quiz help people skip the confusion of traditional shopping and find exactly what they need? How does that help?
Yeah, so I think, when you're going into a store to try to figure something out, you've got kind of two angles. You got one where you're alone. It's
Hmm.
you with your thoughts and your ideas and experiences, and you're trying to just navigate what you find in the store. And the other option is where you're kind of going up against a salesman, and they're giving you some information. Maybe it's helpful, maybe it's not. Maybe it's pushing you towards something that's helpful. Maybe it's pushing something towards helping the salesman or helping the company. And so our mattress quiz really tries to take a step back and to just like take a really broad look at your specific needs as a sleeper. What does your body weight, body type need? What do your preferences align to? Are you a side sleeper, a back sleeper, a stomach sleeper? Are you like most people in a combination sleeper? And so
Yeah.
we try to look at all of these different factors to then really take a high level view of your specific needs and preferences. And then based on everything you sort of, tell me in the quiz, then I kind of look at every mattress that we've ever tested and say, all right, well, this person, maybe they sleep in this position, so these mattresses are best, and they like this firmness, so that's best, and they only want organic and natural, so that's best. And we just narrow it down to a smaller pool, filtering everything we've tested to get down to just the one mattress that we think best meets your specific needs.
I think I find that really interesting as you sit here and describe it because it sounds like you're basing the best mattress off of data as opposed to just the feel, right? Because I feel like sometimes if somebody goes into a mattress store, they'll hop on the bed and see how it feels, for them in the moment. But you take it a step further and you have the data to back it up. Why do you feel that data is just as important, if not more important, than the feel itself?
Yeah, so I think the data behind it is critical because this is really how the mattress is going to perform for the areas that don't really just translate into a feeling. And don't get me wrong, feeling is critical. Like we've got to have the right firmness, the right
Yeah.
contour around the body that like matches what we like. But these other things that aren't always like as immediately understandable or quantifiable when we talk about cooling and motion transfer and edge support and pressure relief and all of these different sort of metrics that seem very sort of, oh, it's all subjective and there's no way we could possibly know. I don't think that's true. I think there's a lot we can know about these by taking objective and data driven measurements on the different performance criteria that help lead to better sleep outcomes each night. We can identify better performing mattresses and also mattresses that sort of just perform in the ways that are better for your body. For example, if you're a side sleeper, you probably do want a little bit deeper sinkage in that mattress, and we can take measurements to objectively measure the sinkage depth. At the same time, if you're a stomach sleeper, you don't want as much sinkage, and so that immediately gives us a data point where we can say, all right, well, hey, you're a stomach sleeper. We don't even need to consider these 60% of mattresses because they're just too much. There's too much sinkage, and we can focus on the beds that actually do meet your needs. And so we're trying to use data to quantify the performance metrics about mattresses and take as much of the sort of guesswork and subjectivity out of the equation so we can get down to numbers, and then we just match numbers with a specific sleeper's profile and preferences.
I love that. I love that so much because I never really thought of it from that standpoint. And it's funny, I pass a mattress store on my way to work every day. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. One of the probably most hilarious conspiracy theories out there is that mattress stores are not actually mattress stores, that they're actually like a front
Yeah.
to launder money and things like that. Have you ever heard of that? And if so, can we debunk it? Is that
I
not true?
I think it's mostly debunked, but I will say it is weird. Just sort of like the
Yeah.
mechanisms in which a company could launder money. They're just like the way in which mattress stores are set up. It doesn't work right. If you're laundering
Yeah.
money to car wash like your Walter White, it's very easy. You just say, "Yep, I did 100 cars today," and you just
Yeah.
throw that dirty money in there. But if you're saying, "Yeah, I sold 1,000 mattresses today," how right?
Hmm.
They're gonna ask for receipts. So it's a bit harder.
Yeah.
The best explanation I've seen is it's some sort of like real estate investment equation for a mattress
Yeah.
firm and other mattress companies where they could buy these really long leases. And because like the margins on mattresses are just so astronomically stupid when you're buying in a
Yeah.
mattress store, that they only need to sell a very small number to make money. And so that's sort of the best explanation. I wish it was
Yeah.
a more interesting story than it is.
No, no, I think it's hilarious, but it kinda, like, leads me to my next question, and that is in regards to you talk about people like, one of the things that people say is, like, well, how do they stay in business then? Because, like, it's not often that you'll see, like, a lot of people
Yeah.
browsing around a mattress store, and so that kinda makes me think, how often should we be reevaluating the mattress that we sleep on?
Yeah, I think, beyond sort of all the time, I think at least if you take sort of just a mental sort of checklist, maybe every, 6 to 12 months, and just kind of ask
Mm,
yourself, like, how are you feeling? Wake up in the morning. How is your body? Are you sore? Are you in pain? Are you moving around a lot at night? Are you waking up with full energy? Are you staying energized during the day? Do you feel tired? Do you feel run down? If you're answering yes to a lot of those questions, it could be the mattress. Certainly, there are other factors that can lead to those things as well. But I think just sort of taking kind of a moment, once every 6 to 12 months to at least just kind of ask yourselves the questions and say, all right, well, maybe it's time to get a new bed if you're getting a lot of yeses.
Yeah, yeah. I want to talk about I want to talk about exhaustion a little bit for a moment here because a lot of my audience, including myself, are diagnosed ADHD, and ADHD brains constantly feel like a car is like we feel like a car running on fumes all the time. And I've talked to a lot of people who struggle with waking up because they wake up feeling, I guess, more exhausted than when they went to sleep. Is that common for people that don't have the right mattress?
I think it can be, right? And
Mhm.
it's tough, right? Because those issues can be, something like ADHD or other things that are going on. They're just, creating this sort of almost like constant, like small fight or flight in the brain where it's just you're never able to like really relax and settle down. But it can also just be the mattress. So like being able to distinguish like what is like an ADHD issue or like other sort of, mental issues that are causing, that's kind of stress and anxiety versus what is just I slept and I wake up feeling tired.
Yeah.
The answer is kind of both. Both those things can be true, and you may be experiencing both of those things at the same time, which makes it all the more difficult to really understand, like, "All right, well,
Right.
is it time for me to get a new mattress?" I think, one thing you can look at is, how are you sleeping when you're at other people's homes or you're in a hotel? If it's markedly better, you're waking up without pains, you're waking up more rested, maybe it is the mattress then, because you can kinda at least have, like, a one-to-one comparison on sort of your bed at home versus, what you get elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, how did this start for you? Because like it's a very interesting niche thing that you have. I mean, it's a very important to talk about, but not a lot of people talk about it or have the insight that you have. How did this whole thing begin? Why mattresses?
Really by accident. My wife and I got
Mhm.
married in 2014. Right after we got married, we were sleeping on my old, just innerspring full size mattress. Pretty small. It was an older mattress, so we were ready to make an upgrade pretty quick. So a few months after getting married, we went into mattress stores, trying beds, and we found stuff we liked, and just everything was just astronomically expensive. Four, five,
Mhm.
$6,000. We were a newly married couple, not a whole lot of money, pretty frugal people, and just couldn't pull the trigger. So I ended up just sort of taking a chance on these online mattresses that were just getting started. I bought a mattress just sight unseen online for $600 for a king. It was an all foam
Yeah.
mattress. It was okay, not great. We ended up returning it. Really easy return process. Like that was cool. And then I ordered another online bed, and it was a little bit better. We ended up keeping that one for a little longer. And so, just as kind of like a fun kind of weekend hobby project, really, I built a website. I reviewed those two beds that I had tried. I talked about my experiences going in store and like what that was like, and just threw it up on a website just to see if anybody would find it helpful. And it really struck a chord seemingly. Within just a couple of weeks, we were starting to get a pretty substantial amount of traffic. My
Yeah.
readers were asking me, "Hey, can you do this bed? Can you review that? Can you test that?" We kept getting other beds, kept doing more reviews, and within just a few months, the site was doing well enough and had enough traction, enough traffic that I was able to leave my full time marketing job and start my career as a mattress tester.
That's amazing. How many mattresses do you think you've slept on at this point?
Something like 565, I think we're up to.
Wow. Wow.
So
That's
we're getting up there.
Do you sleep on them or, like, or do you just kinda, like, lay and kinda feel it out a little bit? Like, how what is the process there?
So the first 120 that we tested, those were like full 1 week tests. My wife and I would sleep on them for 1 week, and then we move on to the next one. The mattresses that we've tested since then, we've done with our objective and data driven battery of tests. So these mattresses are coming in and they're getting the exact same tests done. So we're not doing extended sleep tests on them. Instead, we try to keep our sort of thoughts on them based on objective, quantifiable data that our instruments and our tests and our tools can collect to help us understand, how those mattresses perform.
I love that. You had just mentioned that you worked in marketing, right? And I'm curious, I think that this is not just the mattress industry, but as somebody that has worked in marketing, I currently work in marketing, and a lot of these industries will actively design their marketing to maybe confuse shoppers into paying more than what they need to. So how does a person that's looking for the right mattress, how do they see through the BS? Because they're going to get hit with a lot of these ads. They're going to see reviews, not just from you, but from other people as well. How do people know what's truly genuinely best for them when it comes to a mattress? How do they see through the BS?
Yeah, it's really hard. I think the first step is just awareness. Be aware that the
Mhm,
vast majority of the way that mattress brands communicate about their products is marketing speak. It's brand puffery, and most of it is just, at sort of best, it's exaggerated. At worst, it's complete fabrications from the truth. So, brands understand that, sleepers want mattresses that are cooler. And so they will go out of their way to
mhm.
communicate all sorts of things that sound incredible. Ice fabric this and
Yeah.
frozen particles that, and gel and copper and titanium and phase change and thermoreactive and on and on and on. And what makes it really difficult is that what they're saying may be true or have some level of truth to it. Like those types of, materials and infusions that I just mentioned there, those do make a meaningful impact in terms of cooling when they are infused and included at a significant enough level and with high enough quality materials. The problem is they can just sprinkle the smallest little bit in and now say that that has, a thermoreactive fiber or a cooling cover. And that's
Mhm.
true, but it's not enough to make a difference. And you won't know that until you've got the bed in your home and you've been sleeping on it for a while.
Right.
So just number one, being aware that the marketing, the puffery, the brand speak is just really out of control in the industry at large. And so take kind of everything you hear from the perspective of the brands with a
Yeah.
grain of salt.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like people need to do their research, obviously, in with this. And I know that there's going to be people listening because there's a lot of people that listen to this that are parents and all of that are busy working multiple jobs, and they might be sitting here saying, "Derek, that all sounds great, but I don't have time to do all of this research. I don't have time to, go shopping. I just need something for those people, for those busy parents and those busy professionals and all of that. What would you say to them if they said to you, "Hey, Derek, I don't have time to put in all this research"?
So the easiest way, send us your request. Our mattress quiz makes it really easy. We talked about that earlier. You answer a few
Hmm.
questions about your needs and preferences. That goes to me or my team. Takes you about 5 minutes or less. We send you back a personalized recommendation within 24 hours. If you don't want to go through that, and I can understand that, let's just make it real simple. The vast majority of sleepers are going to be they're going to do best on a mattress that is a hybrid. That's a mattress that has foam on top of coils. We're going to do
Hmm.
best with a medium firm feel. That's a 6 out of 10 on the firmness scale. And then the last equation piece, I think, is just budget. The vast majority of mattresses, like if you spend up to like $1,500 to $2,000, you're really sort of maximizing sort of the value that you're going to get out of the mattress. No real need to spend more than that in the vast majority of cases. You can spend up to 3K if you want to push it a little bit, but after that, you're just not getting more. You're just paying extra for no money. So
Yeah.
get a hybrid, make it medium firm, spend $1,500 to $2,000. If you buy vast majority of mattresses sort of in those parameters are going to be best and work for most sleepers.
Yeah. So when and this is again, this is just my ignorance coming out here. So when you say things like medium firm or anything like that, like how do people know what that means when they're shopping around? Like is there a certain feel that, like, I know a lot of it's based off data, but let's just say they go into a store, you're not there to help them, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "I want a medium firm mattress," or anything along those lines. What can they do? How is it supposed to feel if it's right for them in the moment?
Yeah, so medium firm is just basically a balance between comfort and support. It's not
Mm,
it's not too soft, it's not too firm. The fortunate part here is that if you go into any store at a mattress store in America and you ask for a medium firm feel, they're going to know exactly what you mean because the vast majority of mattresses are tuned in the US to that medium firm feel.
mm,
Sometimes they call that luxury firm, sometimes they might call it a medium, but anywhere between medium and medium firm is going to be right for most sleepers. The thing we just want to try to avoid is things that are too firm and too soft. And you'll know when you lie on them. And mattresses that are
mhm,
described as softer or plush or ultra plush, they're going to have a lot of sinkage, really puffy. A lot of times they'll have big, thick pillow tops on them. Those can feel really nice in the store, but most people don't enjoy that type of feel long term. So unless you really aren't, unless you are certain you need that type of feel, I tend to say avoid that for the same reasons that most people don't need that super firm feel either. The firm feel is just not going to let you sink down very deep into the mattress, which for sightseeing especially is a problem. And a lot of people have sort of the idea in their head that firm is kind of always better for your back and body. And it's not really all that always true. Sometimes it is, particularly with certain medical conditions, and you and your doctor can have a conversation about that and whether that makes sense for you. But for the vast majority of people, medium firm feel is that balance of comfort and support, alleviates pressure, still supports the body, works for all sleeping position and kind of all body types from like 120 up to 280 pounds.
Yeah. You had mentioned the US specifically, like sets their mattresses a certain way. Are you saying that other countries potentially do it differently? Is that a fair assessment?
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's
Interesting. Yeah.
if you look in this place like, Canada, or Mexico or the UK, the differences are less dramatic. Western countries are often, relatively similar in terms of like comfort preferences. But if you look to Japan and many, Asian countries, you'll find that sort of the standard mattress there is very firm compared to what we have
Mm,
in the United States. And it can vary dramatically from country to country and in different regions of the world. So I think a lot of it comes down to just kind of what you're culturally familiar with as you grow up, that
interesting.
that bed
Yeah.
ends up feeling very, very normal to you. And so while, many people will look at sort of, Japanese sort of futon culture as sort of this aspiration that, we should all sort of, strive for that because it's so good and it works so well for Japanese people. And it can, but it's not sort of a silver bullet. It doesn't work for everybody. And I think if you haven't grown up sleeping on very firm mattresses, it can be really hard to make that adjustment, even though on the surface, it should be better. But it just really depends on, what you are used to sleeping on.
Yeah. What about pillows? How important is that when it comes to the mattress? Do you help people pick out the right pillow as well? Is that part of the process?
If they ask, absolutely. I don't do personalized pillow recommendations, but maybe that's something we should think about adding. But yeah,
I
pillows.
want to cut. I want to
Yeah,
cut. If it turns out, I don't want to cut. No, I'm
you
kidding.
got it. Free pillow coming your way.
Yes.
But no, pillows are critical because they, really are sort of the last piece that helps, make sure the spine stays in alignment, that you're not building pressure points. Pillows are really critical, especially to get the right height. So if you are a side sleeper, you need a taller pillow to like fill the gap between, head, neck, and the bed because that's just more space. Whereas if you're a back sleeper, you want something that's not quite as tall because if it's too tall, well, now your head is sort of pushed up a little bit. You've got pressure building here, and then that can kind of ripple down the spine. So you want it to lay low enough that the sort of spine stays in alignment without being too low or too high. Stomach sleepers need the opposite. They need sort of the most thin pillow possible. And it's for the same reason. We're trying in all three of these positions to get the spine in a neutral alignment. So whether you're on your side or your back or your stomach, the spine is flat with the mattress.
Got it. Got it. It's because every time like I think about the mattress and obviously I think about the pillow. I also think about like the sheets that you put on. I think about the environments that you sleep in. Is that something that you like tell people to look into as well? Like in addition to like the mattress itself, do you talk to people about how important it is to have the right sleeping environment? And like I think people sometimes don't think about the sheets and the comforters, but like that plays a major role as well. Is that something that you can potentially talk about or help people with?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to sheets and comforters and bedding more broadly, beyond just finding something that's like aesthetically nice that you like and it feels good for you, the big performance thing that we're looking for is cooling. So if
Mm,
you have a mattress that has all these cooling features in it, but then a really sort of cheap set of like maybe thick cotton sheets that aren't breathing well and creating all sorts of heat retention issues, your very expensive mattress might not be performing as well as it could. Getting a set of sort of higher performance bedding can help to improve the cooling and breathability, sort of maximizing, what your mattress is able to accomplish. That's especially important in things like mattress protectors, where a cheaper mattress protector can feel and sort of make the mattress kind of feel bad more broadly. And it can
mm,
also create all kinds of heat retention issues as well. So we want to make
yeah,
sure that, the sort of the bedding, the pillows, the comforter, that each of these pieces is high performance and quality so that sort of the total sleeping experience on your mattress feels good and that everything is working together well.
yeah. I want to play a little game with you, Derek. It's called
Hit me.
this or that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you two answers or two choices. You can choose one, you can choose both, you can choose neither. It is not deep, I promise you. Just whatever first comes to your mind, you just say it, and we'll talk about it a little bit. Cool.
Alrighty.
All right, here we go. First one: memory foam or inner spring?
Memory foam.
Yeah, why's that?
Bit of a personal preference. My wife and I love memory foam. The
Yeah,
contour, the hug, the pressure relief, the low motion transfer. It just feels amazing.
yeah,
Inner spring, especially inner spring is sort of such a loaded word. It really shouldn't be, but inner spring mattresses, historically have been, cheap, sort of, the traditional sort of legacy type of mattress from, 20, 30 years ago. You still see them today, though they're pretty rare. Most brands have moved to the pocketed coil, which is just basically a sort of modern type of spring mattress.
got it. I like that. Number two: sleeping completely flat or using an adjustable base.
Sleeping completely flat.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me more. Tell me more, my friend.
Yeah, and this is another, I guess, personal preference because like the clinically proven benefits of an adjustable base are they're everywhere. They're obvious. When you sleep in the adjustable base position, you're able to reduce pressure on the lower back. The airway is more open. You stay on sort of perfect spinal alignment. There's so many reasons to do it, and yet I am an unrepentant stomach sleeper. I love sleeping on my stomach with the
Yeah,
flattest pillow you've ever seen. So I have tried to make the transition to the adjustable a few times. We have a couple adjustables in guest rooms, and just couldn't do it. So
yeah, yeah.
I love sleeping flat on the mattress.
Got it. Got it. Number three, and this is another personal preference one: total silence or white noise machine.
Total silence always.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I wish I could do that. I can't do it. I have so much trouble sleeping in complete silence. Like the silence becomes loud to me.
really.
So yeah, it does. It's so weird. So like I always have like I have a Alexa in my room. So I'll have my Alexa playing, or if I'm like in a hotel or something like that, I'll play it off of my phone or anything like that. But I can't sleep in complete silence. It's too loud. It's
I mean
so
that's good for a
crazy.
world that's very loud.
Yeah,
At some point in my early 20s, I moved cross country out to Arizona. And I don't know, maybe it was like just sort of being further away from sort of the motherland. I
yeah,
got this sort of, I don't know, like high intent, like I'm always just like worried about sleep and like what's going on like elsewhere
yeah.
in the apartment or in the house. And so I didn't like noise machines or music or anything that would prevent me from hearing things that were going on
Mhm.
in the house or where I was sleeping. And so, yeah, I've always required absolute silence. Even
Yeah.
when we had our first child, we tried to sleep with a baby monitor. I couldn't do it.
Oh,
I just because
yeah.
I just the sound of the breathing was enough to like keep
Yeah.
me awake. And so
Yeah.
I just had to be like, I had to become the baby monitor for my wife because I would hear everything going on in the house. Like, babe, the babe's hungry. We gotta
Yeah.
take care of this.
Oh my god, I love that. This is another personal preference one: pitch black room or natural morning light.
Pitch black.
Interesting.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I would not have guessed that one.
I want it to be pitch black, but we still have enough morning light coming in. We're
Yeah.
kind of 50-50. But if I could find a set of shades that look nice
Mhm.
aesthetically, and also could to do the pitch black, I would do that because there's a mountain of evidence,
Yeah.
clinical studies over the years that show when it's darker in the room, you sleep deeper, better, longer. There's all kinds
Mhm.
of reasons. At the same time, waking up with natural light and that also helps to improve the circadian rhythm. So I kind of argue both sides,
Yeah.
but we do try to get it as dark as we can in our room. And I end up sort of, even though it's not perfectly pitch black, I end up sleeping sort of face down, just into
Yeah.
the pillows. I'm
Yeah.
pretty close to pitch black anyway. Um, though, waking up, I'm sort of a historic night owl, but
Same.
with kids, I've become a more balanced, kind of go to bed at
Yeah.
11, wake up at a reasonable hour. And so it's been nice, having, early morning sun come into the room and the kids are
Mhm.
up anyway. And so
Yeah.
when all those things kind of come together, it's not so bad.
Okay, that's nice. And then last one, I think I already know the answer to this one because I think you had mentioned it before, but firm pillow or soft squishy pillow?
Soft squishy. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. I
I
figured.
have I have one of these pillows that's an adjustable, and so it came
Mm,
completely overstuffed to the brim for like the most extreme of side sleepers, and then you can
yeah.
take out as much material in it to get to the right height. And so I have removed probably like 90% of the stuffing material out of it to have this super flat pancake that lets me sleep on my stomach. So just enough sort of support, support the neck
Yeah.
a little bit on while on your stomach, but otherwise it's incredibly flat.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I love a firm pillow, like, when I'm at a hotel, a lot of times hotels have, like, the really soft pillows as opposed to the firm ones, and it drives me crazy to the point that sometimes if I plan enough in advance, I'll bring my own pillow because I can't sleep on, like, the soft, like,
Yeah.
the kind that you, like, sink into. Because 'cause I'm a side sleeper. I can't I can't do it. It bothers me so much. I try.
No, I'm a big believer in bringing your own pillow to hotels as well. Anytime I've got enough room in the suitcase, I
Yeah.
always pack mine.
Yeah, yeah. For anybody that's listening right now and they're like, "Hey, this guy Derek is pretty cool. I like what he has to say. I want to learn more." Where can they find you?
So hit us up at our website, naplab.com. That's naplab.com. There we have all of our reviews, comparisons, best of guides, and a whole lot more. You can also find our mattress quiz there that we talked about earlier, answer a few questions about your needs, preferences, and budget. That goes straight to me or a member of my team, and we send you back a free personalized recommendation within 24 hours.
I love it. I love it. And for anybody that's listening or watching, I want to make it really easy for you. All of that is going to be in the show notes of this episode. So all you have to do is go and click, go check it out. And like I think we all need to sleep better. So like this is a step in that direction. So I don't think it'll hurt to click one time and just see, how Derek and his team can help you. So Derek, I have one more question for you. And I asked this of all my guests before I let them go. If there's one thing that you want the audience to take away from our conversation today, what is that one thing?
I think just, prioritize your sleep. And I think some people think of sleep as like almost like selfish, like, oh, if I'm sleeping, then I'm not helping my family or I'm not working or I'm, just being lazy. And it's not true. Sleep is so foundational to our health and wellness. It is everything. This is not just me saying, there are a mountain of studies going back, decades and decades that all say the same thing. When we sleep well, which means 7, 8 hours per night of uninterrupted sleep, when we sleep well, our body heals itself. It restores itself. Our mind heals and restores itself. It is essential to our recovery process as human beings. Without sufficient, consistent 7 to 8 hours per night, you will find things in your body are just not working as well. So get the sleep you need. It's not a selfish thing. It's not a lazy thing. It is just a thing that we do for health so that we can do everything else that we want to get done during the day.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that. And those are good words, my friend. Derek, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
Hey, well, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, man. I opened this episode by asking what if part of the answer was underneath you every single night? And I have to be honest, I did not expect the conversation to go as deep as it did. The part that really stopped me was when Derek said that some people treat sleep like it's selfish. That one, it landed because I've been that person, staying up late to create, telling myself that I'm being productive when really I was just running a deficit I would have to pay back eventually. Derek's mattress quiz is genuinely one of the most useful things I have come across in a long time. You answer a few questions and it goes straight to Derek and his team, and within 24 hours, you get a personalized recommendation for free. Yes, that link is also in the show notes. Did I say it was for free? Yeah, it's for free. If this episode connected with you, please leave a review on whatever platform that you're listening on right now or watching on right now. Follow me at The Vibe with Kai on all of your favorite social media platforms and head on over to thevibewithkai.com for my ADHD digital store, the neurodivergent blog, the email list, the podcast, and more details on subscribing for exclusive content for only $5 a month. With that said, my friends, thank you so much for watching and for listening. As always, much love, good vibes. I'll catch you next time. Bye.